So let's find p prime of negative 4. That means I need to know what f prime of negative 4 is, and I need to know what g of negative 4 is, and I need to know what f of negative 4 is, and I need to know what g prime of negative 4 is. Can we find all of those things? Which of those do we know right away? G prime of negative 4, what is that going to be? 2, right? So right here I'm going to replace this with a 2. Okay. Oh, okay, thank you. What else can we figure out?
Thank you.
We can figure out f prime of negative 4?
No, we can figure out f of negative.
We can figure out g of negative 4? And f of negative 4? How can I figure those out?
Graph.
Look at the graphs, beautiful. So let's do g of negative 4. So I have to look at the g graph and I go to what number? Negative 4, and I figure out where I'm what? Touching the graph, which occurs at what? This guy right here is a 6. How about f of negative 4? Go to the f graph, right? And where am I at? Negative 1. Okay, so far so good. Only one we're missing is this guy right here. How am I going to figure that one out? How do I figure out the derivative of this graph at negative 4?
Make a tangent line at the slope of it.
Good, make a tangent line and get the slope of it? Alright, so let's do it. So if I make a tangent line at negative 4, well, what do you know? What is it going to look like? It's going to be the same as that one, right? So what do we say that the derivative represented? Slope of the tangent line, and we have a line, so it's the slope is constant. So what would be the slope of that line? Negative 1. Woo-wee! This is a good question right here. Right? Some of you would have gotten stuck there and probably given up, right? And said, oh, I don't know what f prime is at negative 4. So this is actually testing to see, do you really understand the deeper meaning behind the question? Okay? Can I use what they gave me to do that? Hopefully with all the things that we've done, you should be able to. Alright, so what do we end up with here? Negative 1 times 6? Negative 6. Negative 1 times 2?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So together we get negative what? 8. And that's my derivative of p at negative 4. Awesome. That was deep, right?
Yeah.
That was a good one. Alright, let's see if we can answer the question underneath it. What do they want there? Equation of the tangent line of what? P of x when x equals? Negative 4. Okay, so what are the two things I need for that? Point, we know part of it, negative 4 comma, we don't know the x. And we need the slope of the tangent line at negative 4. Do we know that one? So we need the slope of the tangent line for p of x at negative 4, which would be this, right? So we know that it's negative 8. Okay. So all we need to find is the y value. How do I find y value? Plug in an x, right? Into what function? The original one, right? Well, what was p of x? Ooh, okay. So we know p of x is f of x times g of x. So that means p of negative 4 is really f of negative 4 times g of negative 4. Did we already find those two things using the graph? Yeah, so come up here, what was f of negative 4?
Negative 1.
So we have a negative 1 times what? A 6. So that gives us negative 6, which is our y value. And now we can write the equation. What would be that equation? Y plus 6 equals negative 8 times x plus 4. Beautiful. Alright? I love it too. This is an excellent problem. Okay? This is a challenging problem. This is at that level of the AP exam. Good? I'll be able to think. Alright, let's see if we can do the next one together. Alright? What are they telling us? If r prime of negative 2 equals 20, what is the value of what? G prime of negative 2. What do you think we gotta use in this problem? Do I need to use P of x or do I need to use R of x? Why do you think I'm gonna use R of x? Because they want something to do with R and what? And G. So this one don't have no R's, but it has a G, right? I want to make sure and use the one that has that. Okay? So let's see. Let's write down that formula. So R of x is equal to x squared times what? G of x. All right. So what's going to happen there? What do you think we need to find? Find the derivative? Alright, let's do it. So what's the derivative of r of x? That's just r prime of x, right? How do I get the derivative of this side? Product rule? There's two things being multiplied, right? So derivative of the first, 2x times the second, plus the first times the derivative of the second, which is g prime of x. Are we okay? Alright. Now what do we want to do? Plug in a negative 2? Okay. So that'll give us r prime of negative 2 is equal to 2 times negative 2 times g of negative 2 plus negative 2 squared times g prime of negative 2. Awesome. Is there anything that I could replace with something else? What does r prime of negative 2 equal? 20. Cool. What's 2 times negative 2? What's g of negative 2? Can I figure that out? Look at the graph, right? So at negative 2, what is the value of g? Negative 3. So this is negative 4 times negative 3. Okay. What's negative 2 squared? Plus 4. What's g prime of negative 2? Oh, that's what we want to find out. So do I even have to mess with that? No, that's kind of like my x, right? It's my unknown. I need to solve for it. And it's good because that's the only thing that I don't know. Okay? If I have one variable, I need one equation to solve for it. So let's do it. What's 4 times 3? 12. So I got 12 here, and then this will become 4g prime of negative 2, and it's equal to 20. So how can I solve that? Minus the 12. We can't add the 12 into 4, Ashley? No? Okay. 20 minus 12? 8 is equal to 4 times g prime of negative 2. How can I get this to be by itself? Divide by 4. So now we know the answer. G prime of negative 2 is equal to... Woo-wee! That was a good question. That was a good one. Yeah? See if we can answer the bottom one. What do they want there? Equation of the tangent line again. Ooh, how fun. We keep practicing that. What are the two things we need? The point and the slope. Okay. We know the x is negative 2. We need the y. Do we need a slope? What's the slope? Is it 2? It's 20? What? Well, we got the answer 2 right here. We always just use that one in the next problem, don't we? No? How do I know that it's not 2? Very good. They wanted to be tangent to what? R of x. So if I want the slope of the tangent line to R, that's R prime, right? Of negative 2, which they told us up here was what? 20. Woo-wee! Woo-wee! Alright. So we need to finish this one. What do we need to use to get this value? The y value. We need to use r of x, right? And what was r of x? And we need to plug in what? Negative 2. That's going to give me negative 2 squared times g of negative 2. What's negative 2 squared? 4. What's g of negative 2? Did we already do that one up there somewhere? Negative 3? Yeah, right here, right? So that gives me negative what? 12? That's the value that goes here. And can we write our equation now? Alright, what's it going to be? Y plus 12 equals 20 times x plus 2. Beautiful. Super easy? Those are some good questions, right? Made you think a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah? Alright. What I want you to do is go ahead and try these guys out. Alright, we still have time. So let's try a couple of these. Look at the first one and see if you can estimate that out. You're giving me a table, and what do you notice in the table? What are they? X values, right? F of x values, g of x values, and then what do we have? Derivatives, right? Derivative values. Okay, the first one wants you to find the derivative of f at what? I don't have 3.5. How am I going to do that? Get an equation of a tangent line? Equations of tangent lines are used to approximate values on the original function, right? Here they want you to find a slope, right? So 3.5 is between what? 4 and 3? Don't you remember doing this a while back? Estimating? Estimating the derivative? What do you think we could do? What would be a good estimate for the derivative at 3.5? Getting numbers that are close to it? Okay, what would be numbers that are close to it? 2? Okay, and? Negative 4? Oh, okay, so the slope at 4 is what? 2, and the slope at 3 is what? Negative 4. So how do you think we can figure out the slope at 3.5? Getting the median of it? Okay, how would I get the median of it? Adding them and divide by 2? Okay. Let's try that.
So risky.
So risky? It's a huge estimate? I don't know if you remember, but we did this a while back where we were estimating derivatives by finding 2 points that were really close to 3.5, right? So for example, we would use 3 and 4, and what would be the y values for 3 and 4 for the f function? So it'd be like 3, negative 2, and what? 4, 1, and then we would just use those 2 points to find the what? Find the slope. So let's do it both ways, and let's see which one's a better estimate. So we're going to use the point 3, negative 2, and we're going to use the point 4, what? 1. We've got to be careful and make sure we use the y values with the f function, okay? So what would be my slope here? 1 minus what? Negative 2 divided by 4 minus 3. What's 1 plus 2? 3. 4 minus 3? 1. So that would give us what? 3. Okay. Let's try it the other way that you guys said. Find the what between these two guys? The median? Okay. So what would that be? So that would be what? 4? Negative 4? plus 2 divided by 2. So that's negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. Oh my God. Which one do you think is the right answer?
3.
Why the first one? Huh?
Is that the one you told us to do?
That's the one I told you to do?
There's a really big space in between. We know it's in between those, but we don't.
So these are just, these are slope values, right? They're just numbers, right? Okay? And these are actually locations, so these are places on the graph that are close to 3.5. You understand?
Yes.
So is 3 a slope that's in between these two? Yes. Okay, but we wouldn't want to really use which one? That one. Right? Whenever they ask you to estimate a slope, if you have points to pick from, you want to use them, right? If I didn't have these points to pick from, then